Zoezela ngwananga. Uya ngwananga hey. Zoezela ngwananga. Basebe ungani sole. Zoezela ngwananga. Basebe buya lelo. Zoezela ngwananga. Anyimba yakuna hey. Ibangile timaka. Anyimba yakuna hey. Ibangile timaka. Anuna wakuna. Akuyimba ngailabi. Anuna wakuna. Akubosha nyibaleyo. Abangana bamine. Bakuunga nyibale. Amama na wamine. Akutaisa nyibale. Bakuchaba kubeleko. Anabela bakuchaba kubeleko. 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 Anabela. I'm a parent you, who hanya di man. Lemingo many, who hanya di man. Tingatala himale, kandi avana litsato. Tingatala himale, kandi avana litsato. Shivangelo shakuna hey, bafumala ngwana. Shivangelo shakuna hey. Ufumala ngwana teka chisiwana hey ashinyika kumekume teka chisiwana hey ashinyika kumekume.
And those were, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say a big welcome to another great production of Ashford Garley live on Bridge Radio Africa. It feels great to be back in these studios, you know. Bishop Peters, Alfred Anderson, my brother, thank you so much for your contribution the other day, man. I appreciate you, you know. John Follett is also in the building tonight, folks. I'm telling you, you are in for a big treat. Momo Nelson is in the building. Johnson to duty, it says. Tonight we have the Commissioner General of the Liberia Revenue Authority, LRA, the man himself, Mr. Thomas Dole 9, and we'll also have the Commissioner of the Customs, Mr. SAAMOI. These are our guests tonight, folks. Plan to enjoy the show. Amos Weaver is in the building. Mobile Nelson, Johnson Jututi or Tujuti. Kalon Zai, it's been a long time, my sister. Gion Boy. Sam Youngway is in the building.
Oya ngwananga hey, zoezela ngwananga. Oya ngwananga hey, zoezela ngwananga. Basebe ungani sole, zoezela ngwananga. Basebe buya lelo, zoezela ngwananga. Anyimba yakuna hey, ibangile timaka. Anyimba yakuna hey.
So very shortly, as soon as we get signal from our guest, I'll be coming at you tonight, folks. I'm telling you, we are going to have all kinds of fun tonight. So you might just want to tell friends, relatives, and loved ones to log on to bridgeradioafrica.com. Oh, man. And that's right. Don't be selfish now. Share the video and invite more friends to come in. You might learn something tonight. Mr. Louis McCarthy is in the building. Andrea Clark is also in the building tonight. Bassaman Jed is also here. John M. Johnson is here. He says, happy 26. And just in case you're celebrating your birthday today, I'd like to say congratulations. And let us show hope that you live to see many, many more birthdays to come. Speaking of birthday, I want to do this as a pre-birthday treat for Miss Lopu Zika. She celebrates tomorrow. Congratulations in advance, Lopu. And this one comes from the management staff of British Radio Africa. All right, so shortly we're going to go to Information Highway, but Mrs. Letty Brooks is standing by. And I also see Mr. Ashton Carpet. I like your pocket square, Ashford. Thank you, bro. We're getting it from you guys, man. Learning from you guys. Elizabeth Victoria Dempster is in the building. Oh, man. Christopher A. Camaras, greetings from my end, Big Boss. Mr. Eugene Herod is also in the building. And let me see if we can make our way to Information Highway, where Mrs. Letty Brooks Rabbits is standing by. Hello, Mrs. Rabbits. Are you there?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. How are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. Thank you for asking. How was yours?
Oh, fantastic. Had a great time,
Great. That's great.
Okay.
Well, I want to say welcome to our viewing audience. Welcome and good evening to another great edition of Bridge Radio Africa with your host, Ashford the Giant Garley. We're coming to you tonight live from 3 major platforms. That's Facebook Live, aka Bridge TV, BridgeRadioAfrica.com YouTube channel, and BridgeRadioAfrica.com. Thank you for choosing Bridge TV as your choice of information and entertainment. We ask that you please do share the broadcast. We also ask that you please be respectful of one another, be respectful of our host, and also be respectful of our guests. What you write is just as important as what you say. So do follow us on BridgeRadioAfrica.com for more information and more entertainment. Please make yourselves comfortable. As Mr. Garley said, there are lots of information tonight. We had a previous guest, and now you have an answer to that guest information that he brought on the show. So we have a balanced view here where we ask you to come and give an answer to what an accusation is. Make yourselves comfortable, have your questions ready, so when our guests are here and it's time to call in, if we should do that, you will have ample time to ask your questions. Remember, 2 minutes per person. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
And thank you, Mrs. Roberts. We're going to do something a little different tonight. The audience, out there will have their seat as well. So we'll take 5 questions from the audience. And with that, you can, just jot the question down and we'll post the question to our guests tonight. So that's what we're going to do. And we'll also open the telephone line midway into the program so that folks can interact with our guests as well. Again, please respect the platform, respect the host, respect the guests. Now, sometimes you tend to disagree with somebody, but that doesn't mean, you should be a little mean to that person. Let us have a civil conversation. There's a way to disagree with somebody without calling them names. So we're hoping that you respect our platform and you would avoid using profanity. There are other stations that condone that. We don't on this platform. So please respect our page, respect our platform, so that we can all listen to our guests and see what they have in store for the Liberian people. That's what we're asking. So, Mrs. Roberts, again, I want you to please read out a few comments as we get ready to introduce our guests.
Okay, sure. Welcome, everyone, again. Hope you had a wonderful Independence weekend. As we celebrated Liberia's 173rd birthday, which is debatable. Some people say celebrate, some people say don't. How was yours? You can also let us know. Welcome, Alston Carpet watching. We have Kalon Zaye. She said, as a big boy, looking fly, bro. Louis MacArthur. Hey, my 26 on you, big brother Ashford. Always looking good. Andrea Clark watching from Minnesota. We have John M. Johnson. Happy 26. Johnson told Juti says, thanks for the guests you have invited. Let them tell us why the Freeport is a threat to survival in that country. Eugene Harry, we are here again. The Golden Voice, aka the Now You Know Me, watching from Minnesota. Alston Carpet, I like your pocket square, Ashford. And Elizabeth Victoria Dempster writes, thanks and amen. Christopher A. Kamara, greetings from my end, big boss. Martin Z. Zenway says, I'm watching. Amos Weaver, you boy, you looking sharp in that light blue suit. And we have Blessed Batu. Hello to all. Gabriel Montgomery, how can the public participate? Mabu Sarah Brown Harmer says, thumbs up to you. Akbar Momalu watching from the district. Happy Independence, family. Tim T. Wien, George P. Lobo, Duke Estrada JJ is watching also. D. Flo Flomo is watching. We have Christopher A. Kamara. Looking good is a business, Ashford. Good on you, smart looking. D. Flo Flomo writes, AG Liberia Destiny Debaters, the home of constructive thinkers, is in the house. Okay. Thanks for all that you guys do. Please ask your guests the on top the rocks question. Did you want to say something, Mr. Garley?
Well, just read 2 more comments, please.
Okay, we have Vivian Eastman. She says, hello, everyone. Hi, my brother Ashford, the Giant Garley. You'll have a safe new week. Thank you, ma'am. We have Jesse Fagon. He says, good. Your best bet is to have both LRA Customs and the Shippers Association appear simultaneously. Matilda Williams, she says, my uncle, you forget about your ma'o or about me. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'd love to say a big welcome to Ashford Garley Live. I know some heard the name, some heard people talk about him. You've gotten the opportunity tonight to finally put the name to the face. This is the golden voice of Liberia, the medicine of the microphone, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. That's what they call him, the original giant, the Nayonomi Garley. With that said, we have two of the best sons of our country. We have the Commissioner General of the Liberia Revenue Authority, and we'll also have tonight the Commissioner of the Customs at the LRA. We'll begin with the Commissioner General, and at this time, I will ask Mrs. Roberts to please introduce our Commissioner General, Mrs. Roberts.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garley. We have here Mr. Thomas Dona is an experienced civil society actor and a financial sector professional that has worked and advocated for an improved governance system in post-conflict Liberia. He has over 25 years of experience in banking, non-governmental sector management, and is an avid promoter of technology as a means of getting things done. Mr. Na has been a promoter of good governance and access to information in public service through his work as program lead at the Carter Center and executive director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAL, which he co-founded and is now the head of the national chapter of Transparency International, TI. He has worked in the economic and commercial sections of the United States Embassy in Monrovia, and in that role contributed to the resuscitation of economic governance, structures, and institutions in post-war Liberia. He was actively involved with the impactive work of the Multi-Partner Governance Initiative, Governance Economic Management Assistance Program, GMAP, and the establishment of the Liberian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, LETI, which emphasized the necessity of a transparent and accountable regime in natural resource exploitation. He has he has been a leader in the commercial banking sector, serving in various capacities at the International Bank Liberia Limited, IBLL, and the Liberian Bank for Development and Investment, LBDI. While Commissioner General of the LRA, he plans to pursue initiatives that would make the LRA people-centered with enhanced transparency, integrity, and professionalism in the collection of lawful revenues, with an attitude geared toward customer service, delivery, and staff capacity building. He wants to continue the LRA on the path of modernization by promoting innovative solutions. This thrust would achieve the level of revenue sufficiency that would allow for sustained socioeconomic development in meeting the government's pro-poor agenda for development and prosperity. Mr. Na is a graduate of the University of Liberia, where he earned a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree in accounting and economics, and also holds a Master's of Public Administration from the Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University. He is married with 3 children. Mr. Thomas Dona, Commissioner General, LRA, Liberia Revenue Authority.
Okay. That was just a little just of the Commissioner General. Would not go to yet a little bit of the Commissioner of the Customs, Mr. SAAMOI, Mrs. Roberts.
Okay. Mr. SAAMOI, a customs professional with over 10 years of service with the Customs Administration of Liberia. Mr. SAAMOI is the Customs Commissioner at the Liberian Revenue Authority. He made his public service debut in 2009, having had a very short spell as acting special assistant to the Minister of Finance of Liberia. In the same year, he was appointed the first Assistant Commissioner of Customs for Urban Ports Operations in the Bureau of Customs and Excise, with oversight of the Freeport of Monrovia, the Roberts International Airport, James Briggs Payne International Airport, the government's Precious Mineral Export Office, and the country's only seaport petroleum terminal, LPRC. In March of 2014, he was appointed acting commissioner of customs in the ex-wild or more formal Ministry of Finance of Liberia. In July 2014, he was again appointed acting commissioner of customs at the newly established Liberia Revenue Authority. And in April of 2015, he was appointed commissioner of customs at the Liberian Revenue Authority. Mr. SAAMOI's career focus has largely been in the area of trade facilitation and supply chain security. Since his appointment as Customs Commissioner, he has accomplished a number of reforms in Liberia customs, inter alia, or among other things, remarkable improvements in the areas of customs operational risk management and most clearance audit. The introduction of the compliance program, CTP, the introduction of paperless customs, and the development of the Customs Security Program, CSP, through which Liberia Customs has been enrolled in several security programs. Under the auspices of the World Customs Organization, WCO, Commissioner SAAMOI is an alumnus of the Institute for French Studies in Liberia, and he holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics honors from the University of Liberia. He is a member of the first graduating class of the post-crisis World Bank-funded MBA program in public financial management at the University of Liberia. He also holds a Master's of Arts degree in development economics from Erasmus University in the Netherlands, and a Master's of International Customs Law and Administration from the University of Canberra, Australia. Mr. SAAMOI, Department of Customs, Liberia Revenue Authority. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
Okay, you have to meet your device, your receiver, so that we don't get Okay, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Happy 26th to all of you.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure after all these years.
Again, I don't know who has the receiver on. I'm getting the feedback, which is distracting the conversation. You might just want to please turn off your receiver. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay. We're still getting the feedback. I don't know what's going on, but we're still getting the feedback. What is this from? Let me see it. Okay. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay. All right. So mute your phone if you. I think the problem is coming from SAAMOI. I think the noise is coming from you, SAAMOI. Okay, gentlemen, let us get the ball rolling. Starting up with the Commissioner General. Please provide an overview of the challenges and improvements made at the LIBERIA Revenue Authority, LRA for short, since your takeover. You might want to unmute your device, Mr. Nan, please. There you go.
Okay, thank you very much, Ash. And I want to say it's quite a pleasure, you know, interacting with you. I know after all these years, you know, and I still remember the giant. And so, the giant, is good to have the LRA on your show today. And I want to say to our people, you know, in the diaspora, that it is also my pleasure, you know, to interact with them, to give them updates on what we are doing at the LIBERIA Revenue Authority. And as a matter of fact, we are on this show today because as servants of the people, we think it's important that, you know, we provide information concerning the work that we do, you know, the public service that we do. And taxation, you know, is a very important ingredient for the transformation of our country. So to the extent that we want to collect taxes, but we should also be able to provide, you know, information to taxpayers concerning, you know, our challenges and progress, just as you've stated. So, you know, I want to say, since we took over at the LRA, your colleague, you know, read my vision for the LRA in terms of the quality of customer service, you know, technology, engaging technology, and all of that. We've moved as swiftly as possible to embed technology as one of the key ingredients of our transactions with taxpayers. So as we speak, you know, based on all of what we've done, we now have a revamped website, and this allows taxpayers to now engage with the LRA, pay their taxes online using their debit cards, MasterCard, or Visa card. You can go to the LRA website now and you can pay your taxes if you own property in the US. If you live in the US and you have property in Liberia, well, I mean, you can now, you know, sit from the comfort of your home and pay for your real estate or your real property taxes in Liberia. If you also an importer of goods to Liberia, or you are exporting goods to Liberia from the US, you also have an opportunity now to also pay online, meaning you can engage with custom brokers, you know, from a transactional standpoint as they engage with us when it comes to paying, you know, for your container and whatever you are sending to Liberia. You can also go online and you can pay your custom duties. And then also, if you also own a business in Liberia, you know, it's a prerequisite sometimes to do business with government. You need to have what we call the tax clearance certificate. You can also now go online and without any interaction with staff at the LRA, which of course reduces red tape, you can stay in your office and you can apply for tax clearance, whether you are engaging our colleagues in small tax, medium tax, or large tax. And if there's any deficiency in terms of your tax payment record, they will inform you and you have an opportunity to rectify that, and they will send you a tax certificate And that tax certificate, when you get it, also has a unique number on it. And we have on our online platform, on our website, you can verify to authenticate, whether the tax clearance is valid. So our website also provides an opportunity now for people to pay their taxes using mobile money. So if you're in Liberia and you have mobile money, you just have to dial 144 for Orange and 156 for Lone Star. And then you'll see fees. You can pay your taxes. So people are paying their taxes using mobile money from all parts of the country. Now, another important aspect to what we have, businesses can also do e-filing. Before, a lot of our transactions were paper-based. You have to go, and do all your filing. For people with large taxes or in the medium sector, they can now do e-filing, and they can also pay directly, the excess amount from the bank accounts. So, Ashford, there's a lot we are doing on that front in terms of our own engagement around technology. And I think I believe the Commission of Customs will add, some of the automations we've done with customs, considering our Asekuda system, where people can access and the Asekuda system from anywhere in the world. So to a large extent, we're making advances on that front. In terms of collection, I think we should, maybe at some point we can talk. So I'm very certain that this show may not only border on, issues related to customs and trade. We will be open, like I told you the other day. Any question on anyone's mind, they're free to ask that question in relation to the work that the LRA does. So we will be discussing domestic tax, which takes into consideration, taxes related to real property, goods and services, taxes, income and profit. We should be able to provide all the analysis people may require in terms of what we do. So obviously on the challenges side, obviously when we have COVID, it affects, revenue generation. And for instance, also when we have protests in country, all of that affects revenue generation. But notwithstanding, we've always been positive. We think we have the fortitude to be able to, ensure that we continue to collect lawful revenue. And you won't believe, numbers do not lie. If you look at the numbers and that we continue to collect, especially for domestic revenue. So if you look at the budget, usually on the revenue side is about domestic revenue, which is revenue collected internally, and then revenue contributed by foreign partners. If you look at our revenue streams over the past 3 years, and when we talk about 3 years, I'm talking about, say, for the last, let me see. So if we look at our performance currently, in terms of our actual for 2019, 2020, we collected 433.6 million against a recast amount of 395.50. So you can see there was a slight overperformance on that line. And if you look at 2018, 2019, we collected 469.6 million. And then if you go back to 2017, 2018, when we had all mill and all of the activities, we collected 427.17 million. Now, what is intriguing, you can see that despite all that is happening, and the challenges we face, you can see that our numbers we are recording better numbers than we record during the previous period, And it's good for, Liberians everywhere to know some of this because they do not know, people, tend to provide all sorts of misinformation. But like I said, numbers do not lie. If you want us to put those numbers up, which will be matching our performance currently against the performance, say, in the last 5 years, you will see that, in fact, domestically, we are performing by far better. And we want to say that that is in regards to the kind of hard work our staff at the LRA has put in, in this process. So let me stop here and allow my colleague, Mr. SAAMOI, to speak to some of the issues, if you do not mind.
Well, just before we go to SAR, one of the things that caught my attention, I heard you talk about mobile money where folks can pay their taxes through mobile money, and then you went further to say you can now sit in the comfort of your home here in the United States and also pay your real estate taxes in Liberia. How does that work? I mean, by which means?
So you go to our website. If you go to the LRA website, you will see a whole menu. You just say you click make online payment. If you click make online payment, it takes you to another page. And if you get to that page, you say go to the online platform. And we are saying if any one of every all the people listening and they have the smartphone or their computers with them, you just go to www.lra.gov.lr and you will see menu items. You can click on make an online payment. It will take you to a portal where you will see fees. And fees specifically is if you want to pay, say, for passport, you want to pay for birth certificate, you should be able to use the fees portion to make that payment. If you go to taxes, all you have to do, if you have a TIN number, as soon as you put your TIN number in where they have for TIN number, automatically your name and address, your name will be generated. If it's a company, it will be generated, and then you can go and select what kind of tax you want to pay for. If you have a Visa card, you can just make the payment online. So so you can also go to where custom is, and if you go to the custom portion, you will see they will ask you for the declaration number, the assessment reference number, the port of clearance. Then you put your telephone number, your email, and you put your amount, and you also pay online. So we want to say that we are talking facts, and if you have your phone, you can just go onto the LIR website, and all of what I'm saying you will see for yourself. You can also go to the portal and you can click on, e-tax clearance. It will take you to the tax clearance portal also. Yeah. So, but the website is quite informative, and we will want to, ask our colleagues across the world, to visit our website and be informed about the work we do. It's self-explanatory in many instances, whether it's for duty-free, whether it's the rule of importation or imports, everything you should be able to find. You can download documents if you also want. So we want to say that is available for people to see. And as we have this show, we hope that people can go to the website. If there are questions generated from there, we will also be prepared to answer that.
Mr. SAAMOI, please unmute your phone, and you want to touch on where he left it at. Unmute your phone, sir. Left it at. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Ashford.
Unmute your phone, sir.
I'm on mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Ashford, thank you. Let me say it is my absolute pleasure to join my boss on your platform to interact with Liberians and Liberian businesses in the diaspora. Certainly, these are opportunities that we have hoped for to be able to reach out to our people because they are very key stakeholders in the kind of business that we do. Uh, the Commissioner General has covered good ground on it currently at the institution. I just like to add uh, specifically on the custom side to throw a little more details in it. Um, uh, from a manual environment, it was really terrible, where it would take you 21 to 30 days to move one container from the port. We must say that automation started some time ago, and later on, it was taking us up to 15 days to move containers from the port, to move one shipment from the port. We have continued to improve on our automation today. Like the Commissioner General indicated, that was in 2018. We introduced what we call paperless customs, and that paperless customs will mean that uh, importers or brokers will sit in the comfort of their offices or homes and complete all of their transactions without necessarily interacting with our custom officers. I just like to go to what the CG are rent seeking, but what it did is that it minimized uh, bribery and corruption to of efficiency. Um, Today, as a result of that, the direct impact of that is that we have moved clearance time from our main seaport, the Freeport of Monrovia, from an average of 15 days to a range of 0 to 5 days at least. 65% of our cargo can now be cleared between 0 to 5 days. And the remaining 35% are things that we would take an opportunity to seize the opportunity to discuss on this tonight. Uh, the remaining 35% may not necessarily be for reasons attached to customs, but those could be reasons that may be outside of customs, beyond the control of customs, of our customs transactions. With the lead from the Commissioner General, we are now about completing the test run for the implementation of automated duty free. That will mean that all of the beneficiaries, whether it has to do with diplomatic missions or government agencies or government contracts or charities or they will now be able to complete all of this administrative process from the comfort of their offices without necessarily in their offices and the LRA. That we have also contemplated rolling out this paperless platform to border offices, especially with Guinea, major border offices with Guinea in the coming months. I must admit that the technical expertise that we do require, which of course we've gone into contractual agreement, that will require an expert coming in, and that expert will not come in because that a number of key border officers with Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Ivory Coast will be automated and integrated to our paperless platform. One of the things that the Commissioner General talked about is the issue of e-payments. and that is one of the roll out e-payments for customs. As soon as we can complete the e-payments, it means that customs will be 100% paperless. That will mean that even freight forwarder from the United States, which is something of interest to you tonight, when I said to you to our audience tonight, freight forwarders from the United States declaration and make payments even from the United States using all of these platforms, and they would not necessarily have to interact with customs. The only part that will be left, which is obvious, is to physically now move the cargo from the port. That's where you would need the physical interaction. Um, I like to talk about some of the legal instruments or some of the instruments for trade facilitation. Trade facilitation is key for customs. It's not just
Just
about
before,
collecting the revenue,
excuse me, sir,
but
just
it's
before you,
about
sir, excuse
helping
me, just before
to
you go there,
move trade.
just before you move it,
Yes,
I
Ashford.
want to know the okay, I want to know the relationship between the Custom Bureau, for the LRA, with the Liberian Shippers Association. You know, the Shippers Association appeared on our platform 2 times now. Tell us whether or not you have any issues with the Shippers Association, specifically Mr. Phil Woods. Either one of you can go. Whether or not you have any issues with the Shippers. Either one of you can go.
Well, what I can say to you is over the years we've had a very good relationship with the Shippers Association in the diaspora. Also, the Custom Brokers Association in Liberia. We have, I mean, they're one of our association. We used to have these town hall meetings with them in the past. Unfortunately, the Commissioner General has been planning some interaction of that nature, and it made it impossible to have such interaction with them, especially in the United States and Europe. But what I can say is that we have maintained a very good relationship with the Shippers Association. Um, if you talk about issues that we've encountered with the Shippers Association, maybe tonight you can bring some of those issues to the table and we will be able to address them. But let me say this for before I can even hear from them, before we can hear from them. Um, one of the challenges that we've encountered with the Shippers Association is that there has been a big disconnect between the overseas transaction and their counterparts in Liberia. And that has not only affected the image of customs, but it has also affected importers that they do or render services for. For example, a freight forwarder in the United States will put the exporter under the impression that they will ship their goods. They're responsible for the sea freight to the shipping line or the carrier. They are responsible to handle all of the required taxes that are supposed to be paid to the government of Liberia through the Liberian authority. At the end of the day, the goods arrive at the port. The importer goes to clear, or the custom broker on ground goes to clear. They cannot get a delivery order from the shipping line or the carrier because they'll claim that the shipper from overseas has not paid them the freight. The broker on ground will not get money to pay the taxes because the importer will claim that they have already paid all of the tax requirements to the shipper from America. At the end of the day, these shipments end up going into storage and then at the end, they are also condemned to auction. The blame is put to customs. It appears as though we are the cause, but really, in reality, it is the shipper or the freight forwarder from the United States that would have caused all of this problem. And we have many of these examples where exporters from Liberia have been impacted by such unscrupulous behavior. And that is the reason why I was saying that because of the technological improvements we've made, we have been able to clear at least 65% of our cargo between 0 to 5 days. The 35% is on account of several reasons, and part of the reason is just what I've mentioned: freight forwarders from the United States, and not only from the United States, but also freight forwarders from Europe. So, if you wouldn't mind, I can continue with what I was saying. Ashford, going back to the issue of instruments of trade facilitation, we have adopted, ratified the revised Kyoto Convention. The revised Kyoto Convention is the international instrument, global instrument for best practices in trade facilitation. It is the international instrument for the simplification of standards and custom procedures. We have also adopted the ECOWAS Customs Code. The ECOWAS Customs Code mirrors practices, recommended practices, and standards from the revised Kyoto Convention. And the idea behind that is that all ECOWAS member countries or all customs administrations in ECOWAS will adopt simplified procedures and best practices, uniform practices. We have also ratified the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement, which is also an embodiment of the revised Kyoto Convention. We have also done our notification on key measures we are supposed to implement. We have obligated ourselves as a country on things that we are supposed to do to improve trade facilitation for the business public. And the last thing I'd like to talk about that is that thanks to the government, the legislature, and the executive, the modernized customs code has been passed by the government. And what that modernized customs code does is that it adopts recommendations from the revised Kyoto Convention, and it also provides for the implementation of Article 7, or what we call transaction value, as the basis for the levy of duties and taxes at borders. Let me come back to this issue of customs to customs cooperation, because it's key. In the case of customs, we have to interact with different countries in the region, especially so our neighbors. Part of the discussion has been ongoing is the issue of trade diversion to Guinea. There has been a lot of discussion around this, especially coming from Liberian shippers from the diaspora, Europe, and America. And the claim has been, or the impression has been, that taxes in Guinea are lower compared to taxes in Liberia. And because of that, businesses in Liberia or exporters from the diaspora would prefer shipping to Guinea. We like to use your platform tonight to dispel this false impression. We can assure you that the government of Liberia has maintained the lowest taxes among all 15 ECOWAS member countries. And let me use this example as just one classical case, because everybody talks about vehicles. If you look at our three neighboring countries, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, the duty rate, the total taxes that you pay for an imported vehicle in Liberia will be around 10% GST, and then 15% input duty. If you add the two, is 25%, is around 25.05%, which when you add the ECOWAS trade levy. If you went to our counterparts in Guinea or Cote d'Ivoire, you'll be paying 20% input duty, 20% GST or VAT, 0.5% ETL. That amounts to 40.5% compared to 25.05% in Liberia. So taxes in Liberia have been fairly lower compared to the rest of the region, and that is the reason why we have adopted a phased approach to the implementation of ECOWAS Common External Tariff. That ECOWAS Common External Tariff means that all of the countries in the ECOWAS region are supposed to implement the same duty rates for goods imported in the region or in our countries. We haven't yet fully migrated to that particular implemented at the level of the CET are way yonder higher compared to the current rates that have been implemented in Liberia. So I just like to say that taxes in Liberia, in terms of importation, are far lower compared to the rest of the countries.
But
Down to
Mr.
the main point, why people will ship
Mr.
through
SAAMOI,
Guinea.
Mr. SAAMOI,
Guinea is implemented.
Mr. SAAMOI.
now, Mr.
Yes, Ashford.
Mr. Sigu Kamara is in Guinea right now. He has been there for
Mr.
over 3 months.
Mr. Sigu
Him, along
Kamara
with other
is in
people,
Guinea
stop
right
almost
now.
800 vehicles. They can't get the car to go through Guinea as a transit point to Liberia. And I asked him, why are you going through Guinea and not Liberia? And he said the taxes are far lower than what you people are charging in Liberia.
Why are you going to
Just
Guinea and not
yesterday, I was on
Liberia?
the phone with Sigu Kamara. They can't get the cars to leave because they need some type of intervention from the foreign ministry. So now this gentleman is along with other people. They're going through Guinea as a transit point because the taxes are far lower than what you charge in Liberia.
We're going through Guinea as a transit point because the taxes are far lower than what you charge in Liberia.
Yeah, Ashford, let me just come in 1 minute. Let me just come in 1 minute. Or someone, let me just come in 1 minute.
Yeah, Ashford, let me just come in 1 minute. Let me just come in 1 minute. Or someone, let me just come in 1 minute on this issue.
So, Ashford, the first thing we have to understand the first thing when someone says transit, right? What most of these guys are doing, they are transiting through Guinea with the intention to bring the cars to the border and undercut the revenue system. Some of the challenges they are facing now is because we've cut off all their smuggle lanes, and because of that, they are finding it very difficult, to shortchange the system. So let's say what transit is. If you wanted, say, the forest region in Guinea, because the port of Monrovia is closer to the forest region in Guinea, if an importer from Guinea wanted to use Liberia, they could use the free port of Monrovia as a transit point, meaning that they are not paying the taxes in Liberia because they are basically saying that the goods that they've imported through the free port is being transited to Guinea, and that when they reach the Guinean border point, they will pay the necessary duty for entry into Guinea. So it's the other way they do. So when they get to Guinea, because the vehicles they are bringing is not going to be used in Guinea, it's illogical for anybody to say that is the taxes they pay in Guinea. So they do not pay taxes in Guinea because the vehicles they bring is in transit. So they do that with the thinking that when they get to Ganta border or to Jawa or to Yela, they will give our collectors there far below what they would have paid at the free port, and based on that, they will bring the cars into the country. Now, those people are not business people, but I mean, the reality is most of them are crooks. You understand? They want to undermine the economy. So the logic of tax payment, they should not give anybody the impression that when the vehicles get to Guinea, they do not even understand what Guinean taxation is, because their vehicles are not taxed in Guinea, because they will tell the Guinean authority that the vehicles are in transit. So they drive it all the way to Ganta border. They get there and think that they can honor declare, pay maybe some kind of $200 or $500. But all of that, Ashford, in the last 1 year, we've stamped. And those vehicles that are in Guinea as we speak, even the Guinean authorities are spotlighting them, because sometimes they will also say they are transiting to Liberia, but they will also keep those vehicles for use in Guinea. So right now, we are on high alert, and we are waiting for those vehicles to come so they can pay the required duty. In terms of why those vehicles are not moving, right? You know, right now we're in a COVID period, and we're not stopping. If the Sierra Leoneans or Guineans can allow transit, we will admit the vehicles through Liberia. So we do not have any authority or jurisdiction on the movement of those vehicles across Guinea or Sierra Leone. But I can assure you, if Liberians, well, I mean, every day we are accepting goods from Guinea, from Sierra Leone, from Ivory Coast at the various border points. Those border points are not closed. So if they can bring those vehicles to Ganta, we will assess them and we'll provide the required duty. I'm very certain that the fear is when they come this time, they're not going to just shortchange the system. So right now, as we speak, we're on high alert. We are waiting for them.
Okay, gentlemen, let us talk about the decisions that led to the termination of BVAC pre-shipment inspection, the PSI, the contract to Liberia. And in fact, when does this take effect?
So let me just say something again. As for I listen to Philip Woos, and you know, Philip Woos, he has a relationship. He's a shipper. He has to learn, you know, to put things in context before he comes on the radio and start to talk, right? If you go to our website, the first banner you see on our website it says suspended, penalty on failure to do pre-shipment inspection. Now, except we are taking an illogical decision, you know, and I know that because of COVID-19, there is no way that BVAC would have gone to all the places to do pre-shipment inspection. And if you did not do pre-shipment inspection, usually when you got to the free port of Monrovia, we penalize you. So the president, together with the LRA advice, the president came out and we suspended all penalty, meaning that if you have your container in the US today, you want to ship, you do not have to wait for BVAC inspector to come. If you want for a BVAC inspector to come and inspect it, fine. It's left with you. We're not object to that. But if you bring that container with all doing pre-shipment inspection, I can assure you that we will not penalize you whatsoever. But you see, let's understand that some of what we ship, and this is the issue with the shipment Liberians are doing. Say if you were in our position, if you imported a container and in a container you have car, you have mattress, you have golden gin, you have soap, you have sugar, you have flour, what I mean of far array of things. Pray tell me, how do you expect that container will be assessed? You have at times you have to open it. You understand? So because of that, someone will tell you we have what we call different liens. So some of those containers, based on those real basis, we will have to open the containers. So when I listen to the shippers, look, we got people breaking thousands of containers through the free port every day. You know, and it's far-fetched to think that we will open all the containers. We do not open all the containers, but because of the way some of our people do business and the way they transact, based on risk analysis, we flag certain containers based on past behavior. You know, there are a lot of times people will come and report some of these same people that are talking, you know, about a failure to give them the goods. So we have no intention whatsoever, Ashford, to undermine our own people or to strangulate them or make life hard for them. And they should be very truthful in terms of the relationship and the interactions they have with us. So that's the reason why we decided to appear here, so that we debunk some of these, you know, different accusations, but at the same time provide education so people understand what is going to happen. Now, with pre-shipment and destination inspection, as I speak to you, based on international best practice, Almost all countries now are doing destination inspection. We've already concluded a contract where at the Freeport of Monrovia, we are going to do destination inspection. But the destination inspection we are going to do, Ashford, is not the destination inspection that people envisage. You do not expect that thousands of containers will come during destination. We are going to put high quality, modernized scanners at the Freeport. When your containers come, they will be scanned, and based on the 3D images, we will be able to assess it in many different ways. So we are going beyond that old age thing that people thought, sometimes we are living in the past. We're trying to make advances. So when we talk about destination, moving from pre-shipment, we ain't saying that when your container comes to the Freeport, we will go and open it. It's going through high pressure and scanners.
So, Mr. Now, what are the benefits of the destination inspection to Liberia?
Oh, the benefits are, number one, it means that, okay, we should talk about the benefits to importers. You understand, right? Firstly, you know the struggle people have to go through, and some of those complaints are genuine. You have to call BVAC inspectors to inspect your container. It could take some time. You understand? Now, is that what we should continue to do? We say no. So the issue of destination inspection, we're going through we are now coming to do a modernized process at the Freeport. The LRA has acquired 20 acres of land from the Freeport. And in that 20 acres of land, we'll have places for containers, scanning, and I can tell you the port will be modernized. So when we talk about moving to destination inspection, that's where we are headed. So we're not going to that tier one thing where in fact, it doesn't make sense that thousands of containers will come and we'll be opening those containers, looking in them. Who does that? No one.
Now, can you please explain to us the process of the destination inspection?
Let me leave that to SAAMOI because we are a team here.
Okay. SAAMOI, please explain to us the process of the destination inspection and how will it be implemented at the ports of entry in Liberia? Omit your device, please. Your device, please. You're still muted. You have to unmute your device. Okay, now you're on. You're back on again to mute. Okay, now you're on.
Thank you, Ashford.
Again to mute.
Thank you, Ashford. The process of a destination inspection is no much different from pre-shipment inspection. There is only one that makes them different. In pre-shipment inspection, before you ship your cargo to Liberia, you have to mobilize inspection from the country of export. In the case of destination inspection, you do not need to mobilize inspection overseas. And that is what the Commissioner General said is an issue of trade facilitation. That time and cost it would take you to invite the inspector to do inspection in Ohio, in Minnesota, in Texas, or whatsoever. You don't need to do any, you don't have to go through that. All you need to do is arrange with the shipping line, load the cargo, and ship to Liberia. When it comes to Liberia, here we apply all the different techniques, all the different technologies, all the different methodologies to arrive at the taxes that you're supposed to pay. So in the case of destination inspection, like the Commissioner General has said, we are going to introduce new technologies, which is scanning, minimize our risks, target high risks, use all our risk management techniques, and for some of those consignments, based on all of the indications that we'll be having, we will move some of them to, we'll open containers and do the physical count or physical inspection. In the case one item after the other. In the case of destination inspection, we're going to be deploying technology. We're going to be deploying risk management techniques. And at the end of the day, target only high risk consignment. Basically, that's just a difference.
Okay. Now, Mr. SAAMOI, it is alleged that salvage vehicles, right?
Mr. SAAMOI,
Can you please
it is
mute your phone?
alleged that
Salvage
vehicles, right? Can you please mute your phone?
and vehicles with plain titles are being charged the same taxes.
And
Now,
vehicles
if
with
there's
plain
please
titles are being
explain.
charged the same
No,
taxes.
want you to please clarify
Please,
on the taxation process of these two categories.
want you to please clarify
For example, they have a 2015
on the
car.
taxation
The
process
car
of
is
these
completed
two
quota,
categories.
all right? And
Example,
I
I
have
have
a
a
2015
2015
car that has
The car is
no
completed
damage to
quota,
it, but you are taxing the same
and I
on
have
both vehicles.
2015 car that has no damage to it, but you are taxing the same on both vehicles.
All right. Let's get this clear. This is an issue between new vehicles. There is no difference in terms of what taxes are paid, and the valuation is about the same because everybody knows what it is. You, Ashford, know today how much a 2020 uh, Ford Explorer will cost when it walks out of the garage. You don't need to fake that. Every because it's easily verifiable. In the case of trade in used items, there is no standard market. The auction market is not a standard market. I hear people talk about auction market. If you're going to treat auction cars in a different way for customs valuation, how are we going to treat the car that your sister will offer you that she's disposing of and she gives it to you free? What is the value we're going to attach to that? That makes it complicated for the tax administration. So what we also do in this country at the level of the tax administration, at the level of customs, is learning from also what others do in the region so that our practices are similar or they're the same. No country has a specific value for salvage vehicle. No country has any provision for salvage vehicle. The only thing that countries will do is depreciation. So if you introduce a 2015 model car, what will happen is that car will be depreciated. If we're in 2020, it will be depreciated for 5 years, and that becomes the tax base, I mean the cost of that car with the freight added and the insurance added. You establish the tax base for customs or for customs or taxes. So at the end of the day, when people say I imported a salvage vehicle, we have no legal instrument we have at our disposal that provides for salvage vehicle or it provides for its vehicle. So there are only three different parameters that we're going to use. The make, the mileage, and the model establishes the basis for the value of that car and not the physical condition of the car. So I hope people will understand this because at the end of the day, it makes it complicated. And part of our work as a tax authority is fairness. So if Ashford is importing a 2015 model car and Paul is importing a 2015 model, same brand, same model, they should all be charged the same taxes. They should all be taxed the same way. But if you are going to give Ashford certain dispensation, and then you're going to give treat Ashford, Paul in a different way, at the end of the day, what's going to happen is we as a tax authority, we will have the burden of being unfair to the business public. So all we do is for valuation purposes or for
But that is not true, Mr. SAAMOI. For example, even at a Secretary of State, where you go to get your title, if the car is salvaged, it will state that on your title that this car is salvaged. You know, and the process between a salvage vehicle and a non-salvage vehicle, the difference. So how come you say you will not change that?
and a non-salvage vehicle, the difference. So how come you said you will not change that?
So here is what we said in the beginning, our legal instruments for salvage vehicles. The only provision that we have is vehicles. It provides for make, mileage, and model, and not physical condition. The law, all it provides for is the importation of cars. For us and tax administration, our action has to be within the legal framework. And the legal framework provides that we tax cars and not salvage.
But Ashford,
So
let me ask you.
if you're going to import a salvage car,
But Ashford, let me ask you.
Yeah, so let me just ask you something, Ashford. And this is math. Simple
CG, you were
math.
saying something.
So you have
Yeah, so let me just ask you something, Ashford. And this is math, simple math. So you have
So you have a 2015 car, right? You actually have you have a 2015 car, and someone has a 2015 car. So and both of you bought a 2015 car. Now, when you Ashford bought the 2015 car because your car was sleek and nice, you paid 20,000. Someone went and bought the same 2015 car, was because it was salvaged. Someone paid 8,000. So you come and we tax both of you the same. Isn't it logical that someone got a premium because you bought your car by far more expensive, and he bought his at a lesser price? He paid 8,000. We charge both of you when someone put all his costs together. Wouldn't it be lesser than yours?
Now, because the car is salvaged, I mean, it kind of depreciate in terms of value.
Yeah, but the calculation shows that someone has a more benefit because his car was salvaged. So people should not think that the benefit that they accrue is at the tax at the point of taxation. The benefit they accrue is at the point of purchase. So that the differentiation between when you bought your car, you paid 20,000 because it was sleek, it was nice, and he bought the same car and it had all the scratches on it, so he paid 8,000. There's a difference of what between your two, 12,000, right? So if there's a difference of 12,000, if we charge both of you people 2,000, it means that he pays his net value for that same car is 10,000, and yours is what? 22,000. If someone takes that car and goes and fix it and makes it sleeker, maybe he adds additional 15 and 5,000, his value is even far lesser than yours. So we should try to put some logic to some of these things. You understand? Taxes is about equity. So most people do not understand where the value of the value or the profit on what the transaction is, comes from. The other point, Ashford, if someone brought that same car to sell to Liberia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your total cost is 22,000 because you pay 20,000 in the US, you pay additional 2,000. Someone brought that car 8,000. He paid 2,000 on that car, but someone takes another 4,000 and he uplifts the car to your standard. Now, what you will be selling that car for, you will have to sell that car maybe 25,000 to get a profit. Someone comes and sells that same car 25,000. How much profit did he make? He makes almost $7,000 to $8,000 while you made something. So you see the logic. So those people who don't bring all the cars and the drawing, all the logic, the profit is not at the point of taxation. So if the business people, they don't do all the calculation of the costs. So I hope I've driven home that point, and so we understand the issue with salvage car and taxation.
Okay, one more question before we go to the telephone lines. For example, how do you tax aged
And so we
vehicles.
understand the
I
issue
talk about
with
vehicles that
salvage
are
car.
10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old. What are the percentage of taxes on those vehicles?
First thing someone will speak about, and Philip Woods was on your program, and he talked about aged vehicles. Look, all across West Africa.
So that's the point.
And someone will speak about, and Philip Woods was on your program, and he talked about aged vehicles. Look, all across West Africa. And all across West Africa, if you go to Ivory Coast, in fact, they've brought the kind of vehicles that you can bring into the country to less somewhere almost 7 years, right? Kind of vehicles that you can bring. If you, but actually, I send you the link. I send you the link to Ghana. You remember I sent you the link to Ghana.
Meet your phone, Meet your phone, Samoa. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, I send you the link to Ghana. When you carry your car, it's 15 years, it's 10 years, it's penalized. Now, what people should understand, we have a country to run. If anybody came to Monrovia and you drove Ghana's Bay, you see the trash. Well, I mean, people bring all kinds of cars into the country. Some of those cars, engines, will not be able to take you six months, and you have to dispose of them. The point is, Liberia is not a dumping ground. But notwithstanding, we are saying, look, if you have, based on environmental concerns, if you go and you decide to take a 20 or 1995 Toyota Corolla, and you bring it to Liberia, we will penalize you for that. And the issue of taxation, many people know that there will be penalty, and they will still buy the car and they will bring it to the country. In America, that we all have been to, we know there are laws. Why are our people acting as if they do not know that there are laws? So your country has laws. You know you're not supposed to bring a 1985 car. If you bring 1985 car, they will penalize you. You go and bring 1985 car. When they penalize you, then you say why they penalizing you. They're trying to strangulate you. In the US, when you carry old car for insurance, the old car they use, the new car that the same, you can get the same insurance. 1985 car, if you bring 1985, say why they penalizing you, they're trying to strangle insurance. Why are we acting as if we should not have a system? In the US where we all have been, we know that everybody not paying the same insurance based on your behavior pattern. You could pay higher, somebody could pay less. So you know you are conscious. The country has laws. Which country in the world does not have revenue code? If you want to do business in Liberia, you have to read the revenue code. So you read the revenue code. They say do not bring car after 15 years. You bring the 15-year car, we penalize you. Then you come on the radio, you complain. Well, I mean, we run a country of laws. Thank you.
And speaking of the 15 years a car or older in Ghana, you are charged 50%. 12 years or older is 20%, and of course, the ladies continue. But we want to go to the telephone line now.
No, but the point that Ashford, you can see that Liberia is even cheaper.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Okay, we have 0264, the last 4 digits of your number. Tell us your name.
Okay, we have hello.
Yeah, stop, meet the phone, please.
The last 4 digits of your number. Tell us your name.
Meet the phone, sir.
Hello. Yeah, stop, meet the phone.
Okay, 0264. Tell us your name. Go ahead. Ask your question. You got 2 minutes, please.
I got a concern.
Okay, 2 minutes, please.
Those 2 people still over there, they don't understand anything about custom broking, about anything about taking control from America or to Liberia. These are the people that spoil the government. Those 2 guys are big liars. They don't understand anything. They don't know what we go through. In position, they don't know anything about what they're doing there. They don't understand anything. They can even define the building service certificate and brand new car. If you got a service certificate, 2015 service certificate, it will be much cheaper than 2015 car. Even the mileage, even your car is serviced and you got 25,000 miles on it, the insurance will tell you the car being serviced. The value of that car is no longer the value of the newer car, the newer one. And they got a KBB, the Kelly Blue Bowl value of every car. If they don't have nowhere to value car, which school they went to? Which tax school they went to? These are full of lies for the people. These are full of hardship in our place. That's why we don't receive anything going to Liberia. You carry a new car, they charge you exorbitant. You carry old car, they charge you exorbitant. You don't even have a good road. They people driving 1989, 1979 car in America. You sitting over there, people put a authority to manage the affair of the state. You're making the people to suffer. We're going to suffer more than that. I'm not going to say control to that country to put money in now and SAAMOI pocket. SAAMOI was saying that right here, he wanted to bring a lie to the people. He said, we're going to take a car and crash it and send it to Liberia. You think we're crazy? We're putting money in your pocket. We are taxpayers. We're making you to get what you got today.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. 3351, tell us your name.
Yeah, Mr. Garley, this is Thomas Kura, and one of the shippers to Liberia.
You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please.
I listened to Mr. Doe saying that, you know, I just want to understand something because I have chatted with someone on most occasions. Someone myself will be chatting. Sometimes when I've had issues, I will address it to him and he'll be able to address it with me also. So concerning, because he's talking about taxes, you know, based on the taxes in Liberia, it's based on custom value, it's based on Caribou Book, which is KBB. And then if you look at Caribou Book and you do your assessment, anytime you do your Caribou Book, and I know he mentioned about, like I said, taxes is equity or whatever. But I mean, if you look at Caribou Book, whenever you plug in a car, like a salvage car, because the taxes in Liberia is based on Caribou Book, the same KBB. Whenever you plug in a car value in the Caribou Book, it tells you whenever the car is salvaged, you know, it depreciates, you know. And I know he mentioned about car, he gave a scenario about shipping new car and an accident car. I know mostly before, you know, the salvage car used to be taxed like 20% discount. But like at the rumor, there was a rumor around that people said, people in the hierarchy of the LRA, you know, came up with a conclusion that.
Thank you.
People in them. Sure.
Okay, we have 3746. Tell us your name. 2 minutes.
Yes, I'm Kevin and I'm calling from Texas.
Go ahead. 2 minutes.
Yes, I keep hearing the commissioner is studio there and his I think his deputy or whoever he is telling us that taxes in Liberia are low as compared to other countries. You are actually a giant. Logically, why would I want to allow myself to go through headache? I know it is easier and more cheaper carrying cars than visit to Liberia. And bring it by road to come to Liberia. Where if you say it's cheaper in Liberia, why would I just come to Liberia instead of going to tell you to spend more money and come to Liberia? What is logic in it? Is there any sense to what you say? These guys need to go back to their book and read statements and see how they become autonomous logical. Because everybody are saying when you're saying when it comes to that aspect of the tax, that Liberia is better than other countries, it makes no sense. I wouldn't want to go to Israel to pay more money if Liberia is cheaper. I would not want to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have Mr. George Lobo on the line. Mr. Lobo?
Hello. Thank you. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garley.
Go ahead, Mr. Lobo. You're live on the radio.
All right, thank you very much. My question is going directly to Mr. Doe, the LRA boss. During his explanation, he told us about the revenue surplus based on their performance. I just wanted Mr. Doe to answer these two questions for me. Can Mr. Doe tell us, at least give us the breakdown, what sector of the economy that contributed heavily to the revenue increase during this gone budget year? And I also want Mr. Doe to help us understand one thing as a professional who understands this. The Liberian government itself, we've listened to lawmakers and we've listened to other government officials, including the information minister 2 days ago on Spoon TV. And he said that one of the problems the government is having, the government is challenged, their financial difficulties, and this is why the government has not been able to meet up with a lot of its obligations. So if Mr. Doe is telling us that there's revenue surplus, knowing that a budget is an estimate of income and expenditure, I want Mr. Doe to please help us understand the correlation here. And why would the Liberian government then go out to borrow $35 million, given how well the revenue of $463 million? What led to that?
Thank you.
Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 6494. Tell us your name.
I'm from the state of Delaware, where we don't pay taxes.
Okay. 2 minutes, please.
Yeah. My question goes to Mr. Nah. Mr. Nah made it work to understand that we bring 1982 car is a regular car. My question is there the reason I ask this question, according to Mr. Nah, he made in the United States or in a Liberia. Where we see 1982 car, it runs here very fine. And we send our cars, we send our cars in a country that is not that you never live in the West and you did not live in a part of Liberia, you did not live in.
Your reception is very bad, sir. Can you please relocate? Your reception is very bad. 7084, tell us your name.
Hi, Ashford, thank you. My name is Joseph T. Jackson. I'm calling from Houston, Texas. First of all, let me extend my thanks and appreciation to the two gentlemen. I met with the LRA commissioner once in Liberia, except for Mr. SAAMOI. I heard a lot about him. But yes, my thing here, two questions. First, Mr. SAAMOI, what method do you use to charge for the freight that people ship from America to Liberia? Secondly, this is not a question, but it's going to be a recommendation. A service car and a regular car, like the commissioner was saying, are never and would never be the same. The mileage of the car does not determine the value of the car, because you can buy a car today and you throw that car out of the garage. The moment you have an accident with that car and that car becomes a service car, it would never be the same value with the new one, with the same car behind it. So you guys need to go back and at least look at that, because that is the thing that is actually hammering or disturbing a lot of people who are shipping from here. Because like you said, the service car and the 2000 service car and 2000 regular car, it's not the same value, Mr. Commissioner. It's not.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? So that comparison you're making there, it's just not going to work.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
So please go back.
Thank you.
And see how you can work on.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
We have 3194. Tell us your name. 3194.
Oh yeah. How you doing, Ashford?
Tell us your name, please.
From New York.
Okay, go ahead. Make your point. You got 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. You know, the gentleman in the studio, Mr. Nado. I don't know from what background he's speaking from, whether he has experience in shipping this. You know, here in the States, like you compare the America and Liberia, not most people do that. Here, you buy stuff, they pay, you tax you according to how much you pay. How much you pay is not how they tax you. Yeah, now, if you buy a car that is a private car, Whatever you pay for, that's what they're supposed to tax you. So I don't know what kind of drawing board they are using just to come on radio or talk show to talk because you have mouth to talk. You see, you're talking to people who not get sent. We know what we're doing. This is our country. So we got to sit down and formalize, a strategy, a very, very, very good strategy we put into place so that at least you have business going there where people usually say fast level is better than slow down. But when you also come in with the kind of things here with that bet our businesses other countries in the some region. Because it doesn't make any sense. Not because you in power and you say you want to come and impose on people here. You know, still don't do that. Even the insurance that you mentioned about it's not how they tax you or you pay insurance here, not because of your car. It's your driving experience. All these things are considered. But just to come on the radio and make people know that what you're talking is the fact and when you don't have nothing to prove it, this is sad for our country. This guy needs to do something, man. This guy that murders our country too much.
Thank you.
We are LIBERIA, we are really trying with business. How about getting some partner international put it on you? When they look at the kind of thing and say, I'm not going there. And this is what we experience here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We don't have people to continue to do business in LIBERIA. The atmosphere is not conducive.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a Delaware number, 2015. Tell us your name. The last 4 digits of your number, 2015.
Ashford, can you get me? Hello.
Now I can get you. Tell us your name, please.
Okay, my name is Albert Saab, and I'm calling from Tennessee.
Okay. Is that you with the Delaware number?
First of all, yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, let me say a big thank you to the 2 gentlemen in the studio. Those are 2 of our finest people you can have representing us on national radio. And it's very unfortunate that many of us Liberians in the diaspora have come to disrespect them on issues of national concern. And there's a little recommendation for future guests.
Unknown caller.
Hello? Okay.
Unknown caller.
Hello? My Delaware caller?
Yes, Ashford?
Yeah, we mistakenly went out. Okay.
I lost you a split second. I said I was making a recommendation for future guests that might come in studio.
Did you call? Did you call to ask question?
I want to lay my point.
I understand. Did you call to ask question or you called to make recommendation on the show? Which one?
Make recommendation.
Okay. Now there's not a time to make recommendation. Okay, we're calling to ask the gentleman question. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to you, Mr. Na and Mr. SAAMOI, and then we can go back to the line. I want you to respond to these callers first.
First day, the issue concerning the salvage car logic. You understand? I'm not going to delve into that. You understand? Because I think I lay it bare so some people understand that if you bought a car, I think I use that example, you having a new car and someone having a used car, I did the simple math, right? And I think that should stand in terms of the guy who talked about the salvage car. The issue raised by Josh Lobo, you understand? So if you look at, he says, how come the government, collected taxes, but is crediting and something? Josh, maybe you need more information. The U.S. government, as wealthy as it appears, is up to 22.6 trillion in debt. So it means it's a normal thing that governments will borrow. You understand? So governments will borrow. So it doesn't mean that because the first thing is our budget is based on our ability, what our ability is to collect. So if we can collect 500 million, but we have obligation of $1 billion, well, I mean, something has to fill the void. So usually governments would borrow, but you still have to be as wise as possible. Now, in terms of sector, let me just say, when we look at our revenue performance, we have different lines. We have taxes on income and profit, taxes on property, taxes on goods and services, taxes on international trade, which we call custom, and then you have other taxes. And then there are other taxes, non-tax revenue. But one of the main lines that performed was taxes on income and revenue. So the original budget was 145.39, and the recast was 133.33. But the actual that was collected was 152.26 million. So you can see that on that line performed even by far better than the original before you talk about the recast. So if you were to take that line, you will see that one of the lines that performed in terms of our collection. And that line performed even better than 2017, 2018, when we had, what we say we had on meal in country and everything must have been good. So even during this period of COVID, you can see that there are lines that are performing. So goods and services, same thing. But the thing is, we have to understand government accounting. You know, many of us will make comments, but it's important that we do some little research. You know, Ashford, it's good for us to do little research. You may not like all that we do, you understand? But if you did little research, you will come to the reality that, you know, some of what we say, we are professionals. We understand what we are preferring. You understand? On the issue of the 1992 cars in Liberia, well, let me tell you something. The first thing, people are making the argument that even in America, 1980 car, but take that 1980 car. So let's say I also have my 1980 car in Liberia. Let me export it to America and see what will happen. You got to understand. In fact, it's a very simple analysis. If I had a 1980 car in Liberia and I was exporting that car to the US, first thing, they will not even allow that car entry. It will not pass any of the tests. So, for instance, we don't even test some of the cars that are imported to the country. And like I said to you, go Gardnersville, go all over. You see, they use cars all over the place. It's becoming an environmental hazard. But even at that, we say, look, if you bring in a hazardous car, you will have to pay a penalty. We'll still permit it in. Now, is that being unpatriotic? I don't think so. You understand? So I don't think we're being unpatriotic. And SAAMOI is quite right. Now, those people who are talking about the Guinea, when you transit, you do not pay tax in Guinea because you are transiting. The same thing, if someone is transiting from Liberia to Guinea, you will never know how much the tax is in Liberia. So all those people that are talking, if we challenge them, let them bring the documentation of the taxes that they pay in Guinea for the car before it came to Liberia. Because first thing, it doesn't even make sense. Can you pay for taxes in Guinea, from there you come back to Liberia and pay taxes in Liberia? Impossible. So all they are doing, they will go to the port of Conakry, they bring the cars, they say, we are not using these cars in your country, we are using it for transit to Liberia. Based on that, they pay a small fee, they get to Kanta border, they maneuver their way, maybe they pay something like 800, but at the same time, the colleagues who is doing fair trade comes to the port and they pay correctly. And these people want to pass through Guinea through that kind of scandalous tactics, and they come and they bring the car in country and say they're selling used car and we pass it to Guinea so it's cheap. You understand? Yeah. So some people got relationships in Guinea and they use all of that. But right now I can tell you we are on the alert. We have closed some of the border points, and that's the reason why they are causing noise. Because we will not allow people who want to milk the system, to continue to use that route. If you want to, I can assure people, if anybody fool you and you pass your car through Guinea, the same tax that you pay at the Freeport, you pay at the local port. So you may be on the wrong track. So I don't know whether I handle some of the questions, and why you have other points to add, right?
You will have to unmute your phone, SAAMOI. Okay. Okay, I don't know what's happening with the system within. SAAMOI, you have to unmute your phone, please.
SAAMOI. Okay.
Yes. I just like
Okay,
to.
phone, please.
I just like to summarize the questions. I think they all point in the same direction. It's all about cars, and that's why always we use cars as an example. What I'd like to say, Ashford, is that first of all, I understand the colors because all over the world, in as much as in other administrations, people are complying and paying taxes. Naturally, nobody loves to pay taxes. So we can understand when taxpayers are complaining. But let's remember, like the Commissioner General earlier indicated, these are monies that build our respective countries. I hear people making an example about 1994 car, and people are still driving cars in America that are 50 years old. Yes, because the car is on home soil, and nobody's going to stop you from using your car on home soil. But nobody has, and no caller has indicated to us that they are witness of anybody importing a 20-year-old car. Nobody is importing a 1995 car to America. Nobody is importing a 50-year-old sedan to America. And the other point I'd like to touch about is like we Liberians are very good at making comparisons when it comes to good things. If you're talking about good hospitals, they say go to Cote d'Ivoire. You're talking about good roads, they say go to Abuja. But then when we are talking about best practices, especially now in the case of taxation, and we begin to use Ghana as example or other countries in the region as example, they don't want to hear that. The Commissioner General indicated cars coming to Ghana are penalized very heavily because they're used. I will give you another example. In Cote d'Ivoire, it used to be 10 years. No car above 10 years would be, no used car above 10 years would be allowed into Cote d'Ivoire. Recently, that law has been revised. Now, you cannot import any used car to Liberia that is more than, to Cote d'Ivoire that is more than 5 years. Used car. In the case of Liberia, nobody is allowed to import any used car that is more than 10 years. That law, the same Liberian public complain, especially those in the diaspora, and the Minister of Finance did a policy regulation that now allow those cars to come in beyond 10 years over penalty, environmental penalty. In consideration of that, recently the government of Liberia passed in the new code. In that new code, it provides it has now lifted that ban up to 15 years. So now you can import car to Liberia below 15 years and you will not have any penalty. 15 years and below, you will not have any penalty, but beyond 15 years, you would, beyond 15 years is banned. Why would somebody want to import a used car beyond 15 years? Talking about 16 to 20 years. But again, there are examples in the region. If we're trying to use examples, people say we shouldn't use them. The issue about depreciation. No country on this continent, no country. Let me use ECOWAS as the example. No country in this ECOWAS region is that is allowing used vehicles to come in the country and not using depreciation method. Nobody is accepting transaction value as the basis of tax, rather is a depreciation value. And that is exactly what we're doing in Liberia. The Commissioner General trying to explain, and people are not even respecting what he's trying to explain. At the end of the day, it is not your cost. Your total cost is not 40,000. The 40,000 is only the basis of the tax. All we want to do is bring all of you at the same level and and levy the tax. The tax rates asked for are the ones that are supposed to be uniform. Ask anybody in this country or in America who has imported a car. At the moment, if you were to import a car, is 17% import duty, 10% GST, 0.5% ETL, is 27.05%. That is all that you pay. That amount is what that is taxed on the that is used to tax the tax base. But that tax base we all have to bring it to the same level. At the end of the day, we have to establish at least the basis for fairness. So what I can say to our friends in the diaspora is that the law has been amended to up to 15 years. So beyond 15 years is banned, and I hope this message will go out very clearly. Now the new law says it's no longer penalty, but beyond 15 years, your car for used cars, you will not pay any penalties. That is the law. Our job here is to implement the law, and I hope our friends understand this particular explanation.
Let's go back to the telephone line. Okay, and if we're gonna have to extend the time tonight, we'll extend the time. Okay? We have.
If we're gonna have to extend the time tonight, we'll extend the time. We have.
Hold on. We have Margaret Johnson, I believe. Hello, Margaret.
Yes.
Okay. You have 2 minutes. Please ask a question.
I have to do what?
You're live on the radio. Go ahead and ask a question.
I have to do what?
You're live on the radio. Go ahead and ask a question.
Okay. So what they're saying. What I have to say is these people who live here in the States, and you see the condition of our people back home. As a leader, when you're in position, you try to create a situation where people's lives are, people can live in the society and be able to thrive. There are people in Liberia that cannot, they don't have anything. Their families here want to help them. But if you are putting taxes on us by government or we're trying to help people back home, but you are making a different price that we cannot help the back home. You are not trying to help the people back home, the people that you care for. You really don't care for them. You only care for the Lebanese people. We want to help our people, but we cannot work here so hard to help our poor people. So you cannot be better for this country. So you have to be we cannot help it. What I want to say, you people are supposed to go there and not to make things expensive, to make things cheaper, so we can help our people.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Can you hold on small? You're calling too much. How you sit on that? Yo, hold on. Okay, we have Mr. Philip Woods on the line from PA. Philip.
Hey, hello, Johnny the Garley.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And Honorable SAAMOI and Honorable Thomas Dona, thanks for coming on this show this evening to give us some first-hand information. We appreciate your appearance. I think it will put some issues to rest. However, I'm just disappointed, but I'm also excited to note that Honorable SAAMOI can recognize Ghana, because Ghana is a country that we always compare Liberia with. And if Honorable SAAMOI can say here today that Ghana don't entertain old cars, I don't know whether he's considering economy, comparing and considering the way the Ghanaians or the Ghanaian government cater to its citizens. I don't know whether he's taking all those factors into consideration.
1 more minute.
Because if you are a government official that want to compare Liberia with Ghana, thank you. We appreciate that. Fair enough. And let's do it holistically so that Liberia can be in par with Ghana. But here we are, a country that has been considered as the poorest country in Africa, in West Africa. Liberia was never a poor country before. We all know that fact. The GDP of Liberia was being compared to that of Japan. But here we are, we have become the poorest country. Now, the issue of used cars, you guys are government officials. I am very, very sure you have seen documentations on the book that have needed implementation up to today that they are not implemented.
Mr. Woods, I think your time is up.
Policies that were crafted by the late President William Richard Tower. Tower wasn't stupid. Tower knew that people were poor and people needed to be elevated.
Your time is up, Mr. Woods.
His policy for the mat to mattresses.
Thank you.
Let's compare.
Okay, we have 3351. Tell us your name.
Yes, this is Tom. I just wanted to say something concerning the Commissioner General and SAAMOI. My thing is, I think you guys should, because there are so many Liberians in the diaspora that are frustrated to even ship to Liberia, and a lot of people are. So my thing that is, I think you guys should be appealing to the business community which is not necessary, because there's a lot of people in the business community that is very frustrated. So you guys should really be appealing to the business community, not to what is not necessary. Well, that's my thing there. You guys want revenue, so it's nothing like like acting like you literally. You literally like saying to the business community, we're gonna do what we have to do to get money at all costs. But now you're kind of discouraging the business people. That have stopped shipping shipment to Liberia because of the
Thank you, Tom.
the bad business practice in the people of Monrovia.
Thank you, Tom. The time is up.
You don't like it? Take me off the schedule because I'm done.
Thank you.
I am.
So that's my thing. That's my
Okay. Listen, callers, when you call, please mute your phone, okay? You're having a totally different conversation on the other side. We have 3869. Tell us your name. 3869. Okay, bye. We have 8891. Tell us your name. 8891. Tell us your name.
Hello,
Okay,
my name is.
okay, bye. A call from North Carolina. Tell us your name.
Hey, my name is Francis Molova.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead and ask a question. You got 2 minutes.
Okay, I have a 2 quick questions for the studio guest. What's the importance of the CTN and why it's not reflecting in the Liberian budget? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
We have 3869. Tell us your name.
That's you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Sheku Madal, recording from Rhode Island.
Okay, go ahead, 2 minutes.
Yeah, my question here to the LRA boss and workmate is, supposing I am taking a 1977 car to Liberia, will a 1977 car be accepted in Liberia that costs $100,000?
Thank you. We have 7044. Tell us your name. 7044.
Hello. Yeah. How you doing, Ashford? And this is George Wallace III from Minnesota. How you doing, guys? Thomas and I and my other colleague. How you guys doing? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, they're listening to you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll listen to one of the explanations, all right, as a justification for the increase or the rate at which cars are being taxed. One of our brothers on the stage there actually gave an analogy saying that what he had failed to understand is that most of the cars that you see in America, they're not cars of the soil. Most of them were imported from Japan. Such analogy. Secondly, I realized that the LRA uses the Kelly Blue Book in America to determine the value of cars, despite the fact whether the person actually bought the car as a junk or got it at a lower price or anything like that. They made reference to Ghana. Have you asked yourself that, okay, if you're telling your importers or your exporters to bring in cars of certain year value, does your economy support people in Liberia to buy cars of that value? Are you paying people? I mean, does the economy support the individual citizens of Liberia to be able to afford such cars at such amount? I mean, these are things that we need to consider before we level taxes. The government has to make provisions for their citizens to be able to afford the things at the rate at which they want them, except they want all persons to be corrupt as other government officials as alleged and buy things at the rate that they buy it. So, I mean, those analyses do not hold any grounds at all.
Thank you, George.
I mean, yes. So, I mean, there needs to be better research on that.
Thank you, George.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have 0529.
Yeah. What's up, Mr. Garley? 2
minutes.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on this platform. But you guys really not doing well. Liberia is not producing car. America producing car. Even Florida now is making them. And the same car for $400. West end of Jamaica. You talk about hazard. What is more dangerous than somebody dead? Somebody dead. The government take 2-3 weeks to pick up the dead body. So you talking about old cars taking down. What sense does it make? What hazard the old car cost? What hazard the old car cost in the dead fire in Liberia? You talking about Liberia is cleaner than rest of the Western world? That's what he's saying now. Because I have my old car parked in my garage. It's not doing nothing. It's parked. I'm not driving it. It's parked outside of my house. So you're trying to say is hazard to my family because my old car parked outside my house? Gentlemen, come on, man.
Thank you.
Not all the time you have to defend your salary. Come on.
Thank you.
You'll be sincere.
Thank you, sir. $2015. The last 4 digits, 2015. Tell us your name. Okay. Miss Yasendi, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Brother Ashford Garley. Thank you so much for hosting these two young men from Liberia. I want to say hello to them.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to ask them is, do they understand that policies are made to make the citizens' lives easier, or do Liberia make law to strangulate the citizens? If we are being asked as Liberians around the world to contribute to our economy, and I will add to what George just said, Liberia has a GDP of the per capita under $500. I don't care whether we're saying it inflated or not. Can the Liberian people, how many of the Liberian people, average person, can afford a car that's under 5 years or under a year old? And do we manufacture a car in Liberia? That would be my question. And Mr. Na, this is the woman you met when you were here on scholarship at the community center in Georgia, the community leader. This is Yacindy. I want to know all the things that we talked about. You were going to go help Liberia. How does this help Liberia? That's my question. Liberians, as Liberian businesses and Liberian citizens, how does that help them? I'd like to know. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the voice of Yacindy out of Georgia. And want to go back to our guests. And just so you know, tomorrow we're going to play host to the political leader of the LPDP. He's part of the coalition of Democratic Change, former Speaker of the Republic of Liberia, and a senatorial aspirant in Bond County. Mr. Alex Tyler will be our guest tomorrow night. Want to go back now to our guests for them to give us some responses.
Guest tomorrow night. Want to go back now to
Look, Ashford, so you see, we it's interesting. We are having a conversation on taxation, and you see where it is situated on cars,
we're having a conversation on taxation, and you see
in terms of what drives the economy, and you saw the analysis I was making in relations to Lobo's point. The point is the commerce of our country is more than salvage cars and used cars. You understand? And if most of the people, well, Mefedables come and he talks about so the conversation, even Ghana, I send you a link. Ghana has banned car beyond 10 years. Well, I mean, but the point is, I don't think it is our desire in any way to strangulate, our people. That's not our desire. You understand? But the point is, there are laws. Except people are saying we should not have laws that regulate trade. And people have to agree that there are environmental concerns. If you have cars in the US, someone will say, oh, we gotta make the comparison. You know that the car that you ride, you take into consideration environmental concerns. That's the reason why you have to go to test your emission and other things on your car as often as possible. So we as a country, we say, look, if you want to import a car, in fact, like someone said, all the things people are saying, it was 10 years. Based on all the cries that we've heard, we have now taken it to 15 years. While in Ghana, they are saying if you brought 10 years car, you cannot enter with it in Ghana, in Ivory Coast. So the question is, how can somebody think we are wicked when in fact we are going backwards, bending backwards over for our people? So from 10 years, we're now saying that you can bring 15 years old car to the country. So what people expect? What more do we want? You understand? Sometimes it's quite interesting. It's almost as if when we dress the goalpost here, and sometimes people seem not to understand all these things. They do not want to take time to understand the simple logic around some of these things. You understand? But notwithstanding, we will have to come here. Look, even if people will call us names, in our country, to be a government official, it means that you should accept costs. We will accept it. But at the same time, we are doing genuine service to our country. You understand? And that's the reason why we love your platform and we've come here today to be able to address some of these things. But some of our colleagues, I went to school in the US, and the lady who I met in Georgia, let me say to you, I'm doing and work in the interest of our country. When you in the US, you know how the IRS go behind people for taxes. You think they do not love the people? They love the people. If you default on your taxes in the US, do they send you roses? They don't send you roses. So the question is, we should understand that taxes are the lifeblood of any economy and everywhere. So we appreciate the people who are doing business. We want for them to continue. That's why we engage with them. You see, Philip Wood made all the argument. We are here now. He called. What did he say? What did Philip Wood say? He said this conversation about old cars, is Liberia the place we should be ashamed of ourselves to believe that we're dumb and 30 years old car in the country, it runs for 6 months, and the whole country is polluted. Now we need to start to have frank conversation around this. We all live in the US at some point. Are we being heartless? And if any other person was in our situation, what would they do? What would they do? So this conversation is about savage car. So I was following the Facebook chat. So and somebody, George Wallace, my friend, and I think he knows the cars that come to the US from Japan. Is it used car? That 1980 and 1990 car they bring on the ship from Japan, the Toyota cars they bring to the US, that old cars. So what I mean, as Liberians, we in the US, we should be thinking about carrying our country to another level. So we are all contributing in some way to the way the country is. But the only thing is, because we are public officials, yeah, people will cost us whatever they want. We will accept it. But at the same time, we should be logical. And we should be logical no matter where you are. We love taxpayers. We easing the way people pay taxes. Even if you go to our country, real estate taxes, you know how many of our people come from the states and they build the properties in Liberia, and they refuse to pay the taxes and they come to the US. When we speak about that, it's an issue. So why don't we want to pay? But at the same time, we are also happy that they continue to do as much as they do for their country. You understand? We love our people in the US, but at the same time, we should understand every country has laws. So before you get into business, you have to look at all the requirements. You don't jump into business and then when you bring your stuff, then you start to complain after the fact. So if you decide to do things in the US, you will go and read the laws before you go and establish your business. You don't just jump out and say, oh, I'll ship something to my country, and then you start to cost people because people apply the law. So at the LRA, we apply the law, the law that was established. I don't just wake up in the morning, or someone wakes up in the morning and just apply taxes on people.
Now, Mr. Dona, your recommendation for folks to visit the website is good. Now, where can the custom duty rates be found? Hold on, man. People, stop calling now, please. Where can the custom duty rates be found so that one can estimate duties prior to shipping vehicles and other commodities to Liberia? Either one of you can go.
Just 1 second.
Okay.
So if you go to the website where you have laws and regulation, you go to the revenue code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Revenue code 2011, you click it, you can download the revenue code 2011, which is in relations to taxes. You can go to where you see custom tariff. You can look at the tariff, Liberia custom, and you will see a list of laws there. You can also click there, and you can download, all of that.
Okay, now, Mr. Nan, there are others who say you should stop taking victory laps for your own set projections in revenue collection. How do you respond?
Well, I'm not taking victory lap. I'm talking about the numbers. The question in our country the question is, you saw me and talking about numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, numbers do not lie. So if the number said it was 150 projected and we collected 160, what's the victory laps about that? Well, with the LRA, we discuss numbers. I'm not making up numbers. If you could share screen, I will put the PowerPoint on so people can see. You understand? So the numbers are there. So I'm not taking any victory lap. In fact, we want to take our revenue higher. And that's the reason why we are doing automation and all that we are doing. You know, we are far from taking a victory laps, but at the same time, we should inform people of our progress.
Now, in a recent interview with one of your colleagues, MCSS Superintendent Adolphus Benjamin Jacobs, he mentioned an ongoing tax program in high schools, and he also referred to you as a steady hand in the midst of economic uncertainties. You care to tell us more about the LRA school based on a base program known as STEP?
Well, I won't be able to speak to the details. I don't know what context Mr. Jacobs was saying, but I think he's right when he says that, you know, as far as the economy is concerned, we are a steady hand in conjunction with the Ministry of Finance. Look, Ashford, you would have thought that with all that is happening with COVID-19, you know, economies are collapsing. But yet and still, we continue to collect revenue and we continue to pay government or employees their salaries. Even those people that the government told, you know, to stay at home because of social distancing, we continue to pay that. And you hear people are saying, oh, we can have, you know, people have to go and get the facts. You understand? We have regularized salaries, you know, and we continue to pay salaries. It's because we are disciplined. We are disciplined. So I can challenge. We can challenge people on some of these things, you know. So it's not for me. I'm not here to, like you say, to take a victory lap. The question is, our civil servants, they are taking pay. Obviously, there was a time when we were challenged. But where you find governments that are not challenged? Everywhere around the world, governments are challenged. That's what I was saying. The U.S. have 22 point something trillion in debt. You understand? They run a budget deficit. Now, if people understand all of that, that doesn't mean that you do not have a U.S. government that is vibrant, that is doing things. But we should understand that it's a going concern. So government continues.
Now, businesses in Liberia, Mr. Nan, and members of the Importers Association are complaining about the hike in taxes in the midst of the economic downturn. Still calling. Now, what can be done by the LRA to ease the burden of, especially on small businesses?
So let me tell you something, and these are some of the things that people need to understand the functions of government agencies, right? The LRA, if you delineate the functions, many of our people think that when we take the custom code or the revenue code, the revenue code is law. The LRA, if the legislature, based on all the transactions with different lobbying, you know, groups like Bro Business, and they come up and say, look, the tariff is going to be 10% and is enshrined in the code. The LRA implements. So people think that when you bring your car, and you know those things happen many times. Some people come, they bring the car, oh, you know, CG, can you help me? The question is, how can I help you? The law says 10%, you pay 10%. You understand? So it's not about the LRA and changing the code to satisfy them. So it's a process. In the US, you see what's happening with the stimulus program for businesses and citizens. Aren't people seeing the process? The IRS didn't just come up and say, okay, we will drop rates. These laws are legislations, and it's a process. So this question may not be asked to the LRA alone, right? Maybe you need to speak to the Ministry of Finance. You need to speak to the legislators about this. It will be good to bring them to have a conversation on this. You understand? So the sooner we delineate people functions, you know, it's better for us. And maybe that's the reason why we are here. If the LRA operates on the revenue code, and when the revenue code is passed, we implement what the code says. Say, for instance, residential property. The code tells you what tax rate should be applied on residential and property. Now, I can tell you, because of some of the concerns regarding businesses, even people with residential property. Let me say those people that have property in the U.S. If you have a property in Liberia and you're supposed to pay $300, we allow you to pay in installments. If you want to pay $50 a month, we'll accept it. Except that you have to pay within the time frame that the tax is supposed to be collected. You can pay later than July 1st. So all of these safeguards and all of these things are there. Why would anybody think that we will be in government and we want to harm our people? You see, that's what I'm saying. You talk about the LRA. Many of us in the US, when we get problems, how do we see the IRS? When the IRS, and yes, we get tax return, but in terms of payment, when you have deadlines, you have to meet it. But when in Liberia, when we talk about deadline, everybody believes you should be moving the goalpost. When you stay and do the right thing, then people curse you. Well, I mean, we have to go beyond cursing people and be logical about the way we want people to perform in country. Some of us ain't coming to government, to enrich ourselves. So you hear people talking, what are you talking about? Is that what we went to government for?
Now, just before we wrap up, let us talk about this famous CTN. This CTN that is causing a very serious sensation within some business community. Now, people are asking, what is the significance of the CTN?
So you see, that's the same thing we talked about functions. LRA does not collect CTN. CTN is not a fee for us. It's not a tax for us. It's not a levy for us. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are involved in shipping knows. So LRA has nothing to do with CTN. CTN is not a tax. It's not a levy of the Liberian Revenue Authority. CTN resides with the National Port Authority. It's not a levy from us. So to tell you, say I can speak to that, I can't speak to that.
Okay, Mr. Williams, I hope that answered your question. Mr. Wesley, I hope that answered your question. Okay, want to go back to the line, take perhaps three more calls, and we can get your closing statement. We have a caller from California. Tell us your name.
Hi, good afternoon, Ashford, and good evening to the studio guest, Mr. Knott. I want to appreciate him for his work. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation, you try to better explain, and because the country we find ourselves in is new to our society. Where you have people have to pay taxes and stuff. And we live in America, we see how the system works. I don't know. The epidemic. What are some of the measures, to alleviate the kind of high taxes and stuff? I know you refer me to the legislature, but is there any kind of your own description, to use your own description to suspend some tariff or taxes on certain commodity or goods?
Thank you.
Are there any? Thank you.
Okay, we have 8891. 8891. Tell us your name. The last four digits of your number, 8891. Tell us your name, please. Okay. Hello, caller. 3. Okay. Well, that does it for the calls tonight. Gentlemen, let me just squeeze the last caller in. 0264. Tell us your name. 978 number. Tell us your name. Okay. Well, gentlemen, again, I want to say a big thank you for taking up time. It's pretty close to well, 2 a.m. and for you to stay up this late, I want to say thank you for working for your country. And as always, this make this place your home. Not only bring up the challenges, but we want to know about the progress as well. And we'll continue to visit your website. And again, we want to say thank you for working for Liberia. I will just give you both the chance to give us your closing statement. You're going to have to unmute your phone, gentlemen. Both phones are muted. Unmute your device, please. Somebody, you're going to have to unmute the device. Okay, go ahead. Nice, unmute it. Go ahead, Samoa.
Nice. I'm trying to do that.
Okay, go ahead. Nice, unmute it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You keep hitting the mute and unmute. Now you okay. Go ahead and talk. I don't know. He left. We lost him. So go ahead, Mr. Nan.
Well, Ashford, let me just say a very big thank you to you for allowing us, the platform to speak to our people. And let me say that we have no intention, to make business difficult for our people. All of what we said we are doing is to ensure that we improve, doing business.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So reviewing some of the processes, is an ongoing process. And the new revenue code, what I said, we move from 10 years to 15 years. All of these improvement, I think people should follow up and see all the actions that we are doing. And we will stay engaged. And my numbers, I will give my numbers, people can WhatsApp me anytime. So my orange number is plus 231 777 511 142. You can WhatsApp me on that. If you have additional questions, you will find me on WhatsApp. You will find me on Facebook or Messenger. You can also use my Lone Star number, which is plus 231 886 511 142. I hope and much of our conversation will be limited to the LRA, work. If you want to engage me on private issues, fine. But the work we do, we are public servants. Those numbers are active. I'm not giving, inactive numbers. And I think Ashford, you use those numbers to engage me. So we want people to know that we are accessible. If you have problems, if we can help you, we help. If we have to apply the law, one thing is clear: we have to employ the law with all, favor. Corruption, I want to say that we are not in corruption business. Let our work go clear. If you want to do business with the LRA and with me, you have to be, and it has to be void of corruption, because I will not do it with you, and I will not do it with even some of our foreign business people. So that record is there, and we try to play as fair as possible. That's the image we want to build for the LRA. Thank you.
Okay, the voice of the Commissioner General. I would now go to
corruption, because I will not do it with you, and I will not do it with even some of our
Mr. SAAMOI.
Okay, the voice General.
Go ahead, sir. Your closing statement.
ahead, so your statement.
Okay, Ashford, let me first apologize to the Commissioner General for making the last concluding statement. It wasn't intentional. I think I had some technological glitches.
And
He should have concluded the discussion.
we
But
saw that.
let me say to our brothers in the diaspora that we have only one country called Liberia, and it is only us who can build this country, and it is only our taxes that will build this country and make it a better place compared to the rest of the countries we keep making reference to. We want to encourage them to remain tax compliant. It's difficult to pay taxes. We do understand that even for some of us who collect them, when it comes to covering taxes from our paychecks, we feel the pain. So we fully do understand that. What we can say to them is question us when our practices are out of tandem with the rest of the region. But you can trust us at this moment. Do your research. All of our custom practices are similar or they are like the same with the rest of the region. We're not doing anything different. Customs is universal and practices are almost homogeneous. So there is nothing we are doing about used vehicles that has become the hottest issue of discussion. The treatment of used vehicles is the same as it happens in the rest of the countries. It is a depreciative value that becomes a tax base across all of these countries in the region. I'd just like to make a last point to say to them that while it is true that other countries are lowering the number of years that a used car can be imported to their countries, like we earlier mentioned the case of Cote d'Ivoire that has reduced the ban from 10 to 5 years. Liberia has moved now from 10 to 15 years. So up to 15 years, you can bring your car without any penalties. I hope they can consider that as good news because that has been legislated. And like the Commissioner General indicated, we don't make laws, we implement laws. Whatever you see us implementing is law. If you think we are out of the law, there's a legal recourse. Challenge it and we can get out of the court and we resolve the issue. But everything we do at the LRA is actually implementation of laws. And we hope that we all can be law abiding, but please allow us to enforce the law because that is the responsibility that is given us by the Liberian people. Thank you, Ash, for hosting us again. My apologies to the CG for making the last concluding statement.
Okay. Again, gentlemen, I want to say a big thank you to you all for taking time out tonight. Again, as always, this platform is independent. This is not on the side of any political party. Yeah. So again, thank you so much, SAAMOI, and thank you so much, Mr. Nan, for coming in. Tomorrow night we're gonna play host. We're gonna play host to the former Speaker of the Republic of Liberia, the Honorable Ellis Tyler. He's senatorial aspirant for Bombay County. And he'll be in our studio tomorrow night. Yeah, British Radio Africa. Want to say a big thank you to all of the contributors. Want to say a big thank you to Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts out of Information Highway, folks. I'm afraid that's all the time I have to be with you. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow night. Until then, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, and there's no second chance to make that first impression. This has been yours truly. The golden voice of Liberia, the medicine of the microphone, Ashford, the original giant Garley. Have a good night.